If you're trying to break into medical device or pharmaceutical sales, or maybe you're ready to reinvent yourself into a new specialty like oncology, our program, Medical Sales U, can help.
I just want to say that I'm extremely grateful for Dave Starrett and his program, Medical Sales U, which allowed me to transition from a clinical role into a rewarding career in sales.
He even taught me how to negotiate my sign-on bonus. I'm now making $60,000 more than I was as a pharmacist.
Our members come from every background: nurses, pharmacists, teachers, athletes, and they're breaking in fast, averaging $151,875 in 11 and a half weeks. Many are earning over $200K. The industry is changing lives. You can change lives. Check us out, Medical Sales U. Invest in yourself, and let's get you in the game. Hey everyone, I'm Dave Starrett with Medical Sales U. If you have an interview coming up, whether it's in pharmaceutical, medical device, diagnostics, or even another industry, this episode is for you. Because here's the truth. The people who land offers don't just answer these interview questions, they own them. So today, I'm walking you through the top 10 interview questions tailored for medical sales professionals, especially in competitive areas like oncology or specialty pharmaceuticals. Even if you're outside of healthcare, I think the principles that I'll share with you will help you to stand out. Medical sales is one of the most competitive industries in the world to break into. Once you're in, you're in. But sometimes it's hard to reinvent yourself into it to get into a new specialty. But even if you just learn from these principles, you prepare, I think you will communicate more like a pro. You'll rise above all the competition and noise, even when you're going up against people who have more experience. So let's just run through these. Number one is this. Tell me about yourself. This one always comes first, and it sets the tone for the entire interview. Most candidates ramble. They start with their childhood or college sports. They say, hey, I was a baseball player. Nobody cares. And they lose the room in 30 seconds. Here's what I want you to do instead. Think like this is your elevator pitch. They don't want to know everything about you. They want to know, what is it about you that matters to them? I still believe a personal touch matters. 90% of interview coaches online, if you go to YouTube, they'll say, keep it strictly professional. And I think they're right to an extent. You don't want to share your life story. But I think a small, authentic personal connection makes you memorable. I remember one of the hiring managers at a large pharmaceutical company told me after my interview, Dave, we can teach people the clinical, but what I liked about you is your selling method. And honestly, I just liked you. If I had to ride in a car with you for 2 hours, I knew I would enjoy it. So that's what they're thinking. They're thinking, do I like this person? And that's how I've been able to beat out people who have more experience than I do. So think of this framework, PSPT. I came up with this. It stands for personal, successful, professional, then transferable. Personal. Start with one quick human detail, something that gives you color, something that makes you stand out, memorable. Then successful. Share just one highlight. I was a 4-time President's Club winner, or I grew my territory 35% last year. Then professional. Connect that to your success in your role and what you learned from it. Then transferable. Tie it to this new opportunity. What is it about your background that fits with their mission and this product? All that should take you under 90 seconds. Be specific, be confident, and be relevant. Now, here's the next question. Walk me through your resume. How many of you have gotten this? Now, when they ask you this, they're not just asking for a summary of every single job. They already read your resume. That's why you're here. They're asking for your story. Start with your current position because that's what they want to know about the best. I've had people they start way back when. No, start with the most current, then go backward. connecting each role with a reason and a result. Try something like this. In my current role with XYZ Diagnostics, I inherited a territory that was ranked 78th out of 90. Within 12 months, I grew it 76% and climbed to number 22. I did that by tightening my call plan, increasing physician follow-ups, and collaborating with clinical educators. Now, before that, I spent 3 years in device, which taught me how to work cross-functionally and to manage long sales cycles. Now, you just want to be very specific. You can't tell them everything. They already have your resume. You want to give them highlights and tell the story, okay? Think about it like a movie trailer. You're giving the highlights, not just the whole film, okay? All right, number 3. Why do you want to work here? Now, this one will separate you from all the pretenders. Now, if you say, because you're a great company, that's not a good answer. It's a filler. You have to do your research. If you're interviewing for a pharma or oncology role, you want to know that drug, the indication, the mechanism of action, and how that drug differentiates from competitors. What is the primary endpoint? What is the secondary endpoint? What is the problem that this product is solving that others haven't? If you come into that interview ready, whether it's knowing the pharmaceutical drug or the medical device, this will show that you stand out, that you really have a reason of why you want to work there. Now, I have a lot of people who have come to me in medical device. They want to break into pharma, and they don't do their research. They just lean so heavily on their past OR experience, and they can't explain the molecule. You have to be prepared. This is the difference between showing up prepared and winging it. This is the difference between showing up and thinking about the future rather than just relying on your past success. Also, study the company's credo. Study their mission statement. If you can pull out one line from that statement that means something. For example, if you see a quote on their website from, say, Florence Nightingale or someone else from their company in their history or in their mission statement, cite it, use it. Make sure that you connect that language of their mission to your story. Here's an example. Hey, I was drawn to your oncology company in your portfolio because giving metastatic breast cancer patients with TP53 mutation, it gives hope. It gives them a real chance. My aunt battled breast cancer. And that personal connection, it fuels my passion for innovation and breakthrough therapies that you offer here in this new treatment. Now, something like that, if you can kind of tie a personal story with the specifics of that product and also that company mission, that will make you stand out. So in this whole question about why do you want to work here, skip all the things about salary or company car. Don't say anything negative about your former company. You don't want to go there. You want to focus on them, their company, their product that you will sell, okay? That leads us to number 4. This question, what makes you unique? Now, this is one of those questions where they're not just looking for cliches, like I'm a hard worker or I'm passionate about helping people. Everybody says I'm passionate about helping people or I'm a hard worker or I have grit. They're looking for some type of unique pairing. Now, if you're a data-driven person where you're also an athlete, don't just say, hey, I played professional baseball. But if you can pair that with, say, I was a professional athlete, but I majored in accounting. Or maybe you're a biology major who lead a sales team that's not in medical sales, but you also have a degree in biology. Think about this pairing. So you could say like, I bring scientific understanding that helps speak a physician's language in the sales discipline that drives performance. Sometimes a touch of humor does help. If the interviewer has asked me questions, what makes you unique? One time I said, look, I'm 6'7", but I'm really good with data and analytics. Now that broke the ice. And I went in to tell a story that at UCSF in oncology, I once walked in to what was called an impossible account. Now, a nurse manager passed by me and said, "How tall are you?" And I said, "I'm 6'7". And another nurse joked and said, "Hey, 6'7". And they started laughing and they said, "The Warriors could have used you last night." And that led to a conversation. I said, "Yeah, I used to play basketball with Steph Curry, but I'm here because we have a new FDA approved therapy for this rare blood disease. Do you happen to have any patients who might benefit?" Sure enough, they had just seen a patient with this rare blood disease. The next day, I was in the boardroom with the lead pharmacist, the nurse practitioners, and I was able to help them to understand this treatment. They placed the patient on that therapy the next week, and my sales soared. That account opened for good, and I had a relationship with them. And so sometimes humor with presence can open up doors. So read the room, and if they ask you what makes you unique, think about that pairing. Think about something that shows that you're personal, that fits with the job. But if you can bring in something analytical as well, that will help you. Okay, so if you use something more humorous, make sure that you pair that with something that fits with the job that you're applying to. Now, another question is this: what are you looking for in a new position? This is number 5. This question is about motivation and a cultural fit. They're asking, will you thrive here? Now, you want to focus on what you value most: teamwork, leadership, patient impact. And so you might want to talk about, look, I'm looking for a company that values collaboration, strong leadership, and a product line that truly changes patient outcomes. Now, when you use this, you can mention, again, something in their mission, something in their credo. If you name drop the name of a rep or person that you've been talking to, this is always helpful. We teach this at Medical Sales U. We teach you how to network even before the interview so that you can name drop them, but you also can speak the company culture. Now, number 6 is this: why are you leaving your current role? This is tricky. They're looking for red flags. Let me give you some tips. Don't ever bash your current company, ever. Here's a framework: gratitude, results, and reason. Start with gratitude. I've learned a ton. I've had a great experience at my current company. Then highlight results. I took my territory from 78th to 22nd in 1 year. This year, I'm finishing in the top 10 nationally. Then give a professional reason. But after our second FDA denial, there was a company restructuring, and I realized that I'm not sure how long I'm going to be there with the company restructuring. I want to be part of a team that already has an FDA-approved product and momentum in this area of breast oncology. Now, you want to then kind of shift the conversation. It's better if you then shift the conversation to their company, their product. In that way, you don't rest too much in the past. You want to be factual and future-oriented. Number 7, what is your greatest weakness? Now, I would say in this situation, this is kind of tricky. Don't pick stereotypical, I just work too hard. I'm a perfectionist. Well, yes, you are a perfectionist, and so are the other 7 unemployed people who I interviewed before you, right? So think about something that is kind of unique, but it doesn't necessarily pertain to the job. Something that is true as well. Something that shows self-awareness. They're not trying to trick you. They want to see if you can reflect. So pick something that is real, but maybe non-critical. For instance, I'm naturally very creative, and sometimes I juggle too many ideas. But now I use a structured pre-call planning, and I focus on my top 3 accounts each week by X, Y, and Z. So it shows that sometimes you're naturally creative, you're maybe trying to take on too much, but show how you put in place a pre-call planning plan. Okay, you put in some systems to help you to structure your week ahead. Okay, so this shows growth, it shows structure, it shows ownership, but not perfection. All right. Number 8 is this question. What are your career aspirations? Now, sometimes they don't really care. Sometimes what they're really checking for is longevity. They want to know, will you stay, will you grow, and will you add value? Now, you might want to say something like this. In the next few years, I want to master the territory, become a consistent top performer, winning President's Club in the next 10 years. And eventually, after I've proven myself, I would like to grow into a leadership role or mentorship, helping others succeed. After success in this role, I would like to grow into a regional director role, but only after I've proved myself as a President's Club winner. So what you're showing there is that you want to succeed in the current role. And then eventually you want to grow in leadership. Now, number 9 is this question. Do you have any questions for us? Now, this is your close. And a lot of people blow it by saying, no, I think you've covered everything. Always ask questions. You might want to ask something like this. How can I exceed expectations in the first 6 months? Or you might want to ask, what does the onboarding process look like for top performance? You might want to ask this question. I like to ask this one. Tell me about your best hire. Now, also, I would say this. If you're interviewing with an entry-level position, they'll likely ask you this question. If it's more of a senior level role, say in specialty pharmaceutical, maybe in the oncology, they may not ask you that question. And you want to be proactive in the in the whole interview process of you taking initiative and asking questions early. Okay. So I often say in these higher up roles, if you wait for them to ask you that question, hey, do you have any questions for us? You probably don't have the job. Here's why. Because it's just been them owning the whole conversation. For these specialty positions, senior level oncology pharmaceutical roles, or senior level spine and device. In these senior level positions, they will treat you with respect and you want to keep it conversational in the process. However, for entry-level roles, the hiring manager will often control the whole thing. But also, even in these entry-level positions, look for opportunities to ask questions early in the process. Then, number 10 is the salary conversation. Let's talk about this one because this will be, sometimes HR will give it, but this is the question that people stress over: salary. They can't ask you, what do you currently make? They're not allowed to do this. Now, back in the early days, I remember being asked this question about what do you currently make? And I had to list this out. I don't think in medical device and pharmaceutical, you're actually even allowed to do this. Their HR is protecting them. In some states, there's legal restrictions. So don't ever tell them what you currently make. Don't do it. Don't tell them what you currently make. Unless, and I will say this, unless this particular position, you're confident that they're probably less than what you currently make. And then you might want to mention it if it's close, right? But here's how you want to handle it. Number 1, you have to research. Use AI. I use ChatGPT. I screenshot the job position, and then I ask it, AI, to give me a range. Look at LinkedIn, look at Glassdoor. Sometimes the range is posted, and sometimes there's a large range. But you want to narrow it. You want to say, look, based on my research, roles like this typically fall between 110, 130K base, depending on experience and performance. I'm flexible within that range, and I'm confident that I can earn towards the higher end of that and deliver results. Now that shows that you have done a little bit of research. It's professional, shows your awareness. Sometimes I will flip this question back and I will ask the HR person to share with me what is the range for this position. But it's better to do your research ahead of time. Now, you want to stay flexible, but also give a range, stay researched, and here's the reminder. The negotiation happens after you've gotten the offer. make sure you get that offer first. Don't talk about things like sign-on bonus. Don't overshoot yourself with this, okay? Get the offer. I tell the members, don't overshoot. Don't worry about sign-on bonus. Don't worry about all these things. Just get the offer. Then you can come back and ask for more and negotiate your sign-on bonus, your offer. And if you use the tools that we teach you in Medical Sales U, you have a high chance of getting a higher pay. So there you have it. That's the top 10 interview questions adapted for medical sales professionals. And we want to help you, whether you're in device or pharma. Now, some of you want to practice more. You want me as a coach to critique you. And that's why I would love to have you join our program in Medical Sales U. We'll help you in the whole process. We'll coach you through your brag book. You'll master your 30, 60, 90. We'll grill you in it on our Zoom calls, and we'll prepare you for the interview. So check us out at Medical Sales U, and make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. We look forward to helping you. Preparation creates confidence, and confidence wins offers. You got this. Check us out in Medical Sales U and join our community.